Hi folks, this is Donna Kessler from the Times Herald Record, and welcome to another edition of My Ride Web Show. Back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, there were the beach racers, the originators of Bike Week in Daytona Beach. Racing motorcycles on the hard sand of Daytona Beach was not only challenging, but also was the birthplace of the Daytona 200, the biggest race of the year. Every Bike Week on Thursday for the past 17 years, the Over the Hill Gang Breakfast takes place at the Port Orange Elks Club. It is a time for all the racers. They get together and they reminisce, as well as educate the newcomers as to what it was like to race on the beach. The Pop family and legendary racer, Dick Clamford, organized the breakfast every year. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you really want to get a feel for Bike Week, you have got to put this breakfast on the top of your to-do list for that week. It was at the top of mine, and this year's breakfast was as overwhelming as last year's. I really got lost in listening to each keynote speaker that took the podium, and you would have sworn that they just raced that week. What made the breakfast extra special was getting the chance to meet Margaret and Mike Wilson of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The Wilsons were honored at the breakfast since they were celebrating their 90th birthdays. Here's the best part though, they still ride. Margaret has been riding for 64 years and Mike for 74 years. Both Mike and Margaret are members of the American Motorcycle Association. Margaret has been on the board of directors for the Motorcycle Hall of Fame in Pickerington, Ohio for the past 21 years. And she is the only woman. As well as being a motor maid for 59 years. Then Gloria struck 84 years young of Clifton, New Jersey, took the podium. Gloria started riding in 1941 and has been a motor maid since 1946. She made the trip down to Daytona this year from New Jersey on her 2004 Heritage Softail Classic. She intends to ride to Wyoming for the 70th anniversary convention of the Motor Maids. Gloria is so full of life, and riding is her true passion. I don't see her slowing down anytime soon. Well, as the breakfast started to come to a close, Gloria suited up and she headed out to her bike, and I followed along because I just had to get the shot. As soon as I saw her bike, I stopped at my tracks and started laughing. On each grip was a half of a plastic jug held on with zip ties. Hand warmers. I was honored to add my name to the rest that graced those jugs. She gave me a goodbye hug as I wished her a safe journey, and before I knew it, she was off down the road. Well, after that, my husband and Jay and I then headed to the beach on the side of the Daytona Beach Hilton across the street from Atlantic Avenue. That's where the beautiful Daytona 200 monument is located. It was dedicated in March 2002 to the beach riders of yesteryear. The black granite monument is engraved with an image of the start of the 1959 race and the likenesses of the 12 champions. I couldn't believe I was staring at the likeness of the remarkable people I had just met in person. It was the perfect ending. Well, you know, I almost didn't go to the 69th annual Bike Week in Daytona Beach. Fun, you know. But it's hard to stay away, and I have a feeling every other biker debated as much as I did. It was pretty thin crowd-wise during the week. The cool temperatures didn't help. It never got above 62 degrees. If you were a vendor that sold hats, gloves, face masks, chaps, and coats, you were a happy camper, because those were the must-have items. I mean, there was actually frost warnings. It finally warmed up on the last weekend of the event, which really brought the crowd out. It was tough walking up and down Main Street and even Beach Street on those days. Sadly, Bike Week is turning out to be quite expensive, I hate to say. Not only do the hotels jack up their prices trifold, but parking is a whole other story. Most places charge $5 for bikes and $10 for cars with no return. I even saw a place that was charging $30 for cars. Hey, not everyone attends Bike Week has a bike or could bring theirs. Hello? Yes, times have changed and Bike Week along with it. Gone are the star-studded bike builders that used to see on every corner. Visitors did, however, get to meet Vinny and Cody of V-Force Customs, who camped out at Riverside Park on Beach Street. Filming was taking place for their new show, Throttle Junkies. There was also word that Dave Perowitz was strolling around town. Police are more strict, and if you get ticketed, the fine can be astronomical. There's also more sport bikes crews in the streets, and then there are those who just dress up for the occasion. But Bike Week is what you make it to be, and frankly, I had a blast. Good times with great company. On the upside, this year's event brought the debut of the Daytona Flat Track. A piece of land behind turns 1 and 2 was transformed into a quarter-mile dirt oval. The new flat track was host to the first race of the 2010 Grand Nationals. The 69th Daytona 200 by Honda was also held under the lights for the first time in its history. The 19th Annual Boardwalk Classic Ride-In Show and the Cycle World International Motorcycle Show were to die for. But I have to be honest, Willie's Tropical Tattoo Chopper Time Old School Chopper Show was absolutely phenomenal. The parking lot, which is small, was packed with home builds, and they just kept coming in. It's a show not to be missed during Bike Week. Well, guys, it all started in 1937 with the first ever Daytona 200 on Daytona Beach. Each year, the popularity of the race grew, and soon non-race-related events were born. The crowds began to grow, and after the 1986 event, a committee was formed with the city and the Chamber of Commerce to manage the event. Today, Bike Week has been labeled as the world's largest motorcycle gathering, and gather they do. Only time's going to tell where Bike Week will go from here, but one thing's for sure. Expensive or not, crowded or not, it's the place bikers flock to every March. The 70th Annual Bike Week will take place March 4th through the 13th, 2011. Yep, I'll see you there. My shout out today goes to my husband Jay, who not only made it possible for me to go to Bike Week this year, but was gracious enough to give up his Bike Week shirt so I could wear it on the show today. Thanks, hon. This is Donna Kessler for My Ride Web Show. See you next time. And visit recordonline.com for a huge photo gallery from Bike Week.